Hello, hello, and welcome. Welcome to another live. All right. If you're new to this space, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, listener, subscriber, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. So we're here and we're just waiting for the number to just get going for us to provide the updates that we have and to hear from you as well in the context of, updates that you have from where you're tuned in from friends and family. And so we're here to facilitate that kind of interaction in this community. All right. So again, welcome, welcome. Lots have been happening, but lots to be thankful for. And definitely, we are, a thankful, or we should be, a grateful nation. And so, on my side, still trying to get in touch with, family members and friends. All right. And so, but generally, once we're able to make a contact in the area, we understand that things are going well because a lot of persons are still without power, without electricity. And so that has been, a significant challenge. We're being informed as well that I don't know if the situation has changed since this update to us, that calls, so Digicel to Digicel calls are not going through. All right. So that's what we're being told. So if you're here and you can also confirm that, but that was an issue where Digicel to Digicel. So if you have a Digicel phone and you're calling another Digicel phone, then the calls are not going through. All right. And so that's the situation there. And again, we have some updates coming in, and based on what we have been seeing, Jamaica indeed got a battering from Beryl. All right, so in that context too, I can also share based on the connections there in the Cayman Islands that they're feeling some effect or some effects of Beryl. All right, and we'll get to that in a little bit. And so if you were here last evening, we have been sharing updates in terms of what is happening or what happened in parts of Jamaica. And so we have similar updates and additional updates in terms of, information coming in. Some again, the power remains a challenge because a lot of places are without electricity. And so that is pretty much hindering the connection. So when we have a platform and a space like this, we can definitely hear more from persons. So we have, a wider base. And so we get a better sense of what is happening on the ground. And bear in mind too that some persons are without, data connection, so they don't have any access to internet in that context. And so you can understand the communication barriers. And a lot of us were still, on edge, wanting to hear directly from, family members. So for some of us, we are not yet able to, even on my side here, to connect with, all of our family members. But I am taking comfort in the fact, based on some reports that we're getting from those areas, that, this is the general sense of what is happening and no power. And, when I can hear, for example, from communities where we're getting, reports like from, police officers, no loss of life in terms of, what they know so far, that is very comforting. So that too is an avenue for some of us. If it is that you're not able to get directly to your family members, perhaps try to phone the police station that is closest to that area just to get a sense of, what is happening in the area. All right. They may not be able to give you specifics in terms of, details for an exact person or an exact location, but they can give you a general sense of what is happening. All right, so last evening, we heard from the Prime Minister, and I have that here to kind of, let some persons hear that because persons were in and out at different times in the context of the disaster response. And so I know that the Prime Minister wanted some updates in that context regarding reports and, not really seeing much yet from the office of the prime minister in the context of reports. All right, but again, we're still checking, we're still here doing the work. All right, as you enter, guys, hit the like button and hit the share button, and let's just continue to grow here. All right. And again, welcome, welcome. If you're just tuning in, we're here to provide some updates. All right. Just to let you know, all right, that the Sangster International Airport in Montego Bay, St. James, is expected to resume operations at 6 p.m. today. As far as I know, in the context of the Norman Manley International Airport, it remained closed and they were, I guess, based on the update, will be open tomorrow. All right, so that's the situation there in that context. All right, and so again, we have some updates, and I don't know if we have your community, but updates are coming in and we're definitely here to share. So what I'm going to do as persons kind of get in on this live, I'm just going to go to the Prime Minister and this is from last evening, and then I'll go to Mark Golding's update that he shared today. So I suspect that, the Prime Minister still there in terms of trying to get some updates. He did. Okay, and there is something here from the Prime Minister, most, I guess, recently. So we're going to, and perhaps not very recent, but we're going to go to that. So let's try the one on screen here. Then we go to Mark Golding, then perhaps circle back to the Prime Minister. All right, guys. So welcome, welcome. And as you enter, please remember to hit the like button, the share button, and the subscription button.
But I wish to express my gratitude to the team here at the National Operations Command Center. You have made that sacrifice to be here, to be at the helm of Jamaica's disaster coordination. And on behalf of Jamaican people, we say thank you. You have done so far an excellent job. Let me start by saying that we don't have all the resources that we want. We don't have all the tech that we would want. But the truth is that we have a very good institution in ODPEM. We have good knowledge. We have good experience. Our officers and personnel are well trained and indeed are world class. So whatever shortage in resources we may have, we compensate in our technical capacities and in our commitment, and we make the best of what we have. And that's what we have on display here. Suffice to say that the government, in its strategy to mainstream resilience as a part of a line of function of the government, we are investing in ODPEM, we are investing in our ability to stand up communications, even in disaster. We are investing in our security forces. We are investing in radars. We are investing in our boats. We are investing in our air surveillance and other investments, which will increase Jamaica's ability to respond to crisis and recover quickly. So eventually, I think within another 5 to 6 years, we will be at a point where we will have all the latest technology that will help us to be able to truly cover the island, truly get instant updates and be able to respond quickly. So it is a work in progress, but you would get a very high grade in terms of how I see you have performed, and I'm certain how the rest of Jamaica would see that you have performed. The real test is going to come, however, when the hurricane has passed, and the public is going to be judging us on the speed of the response. So we have done so far very well on the informationalization of the public. We started very early. We gave the public information. We pointed them in the direction of legitimate, accurate information, official information. All the channels were open. So there's no one who could say they were not aware or they didn't know. Everyone understands and knows. Maybe the expectation was maybe a little bit higher than what we're seeing happening, but that is the best way to get people to be prepared. And I think on that score, we should be judged fairly well. The issue now is how do we respond? And the ability to respond will depend on just what you have just done here, which is to give an update. We have close to 500 persons, 480 almost persons, or 486? 488, almost 500 in shelters. And more shelters are coming on and more persons are going in. So that's your first line of response, to make sure that the people who are in shelters, that they are comfortable and that their needs are met. And I've been advised that ODPEM has enough supplies and provisions to ensure that the persons in shelters are addressed. So the issue now would be to make sure that there is this constant transportation from your central base, or if you have pre-positioned, to those areas in need. So my next request for a report will be, how are the persons in shelters being treated? Are their needs being met? Is there a level of comfort that they can, feel safe and satisfied, that they're not so discomforted that they want to go back to a worse situation? And that's very important. I would also want to get, and I would say maybe at about 7 o'clock tonight, and I'm seeing the NWA here, a report on the impact on the coastal infrastructure. I'm seeing that we're having serious storm surges. I've seen in St. Thomas, and I'm getting reports in the north, and I expect that we will hear some reports coming out of the southwestern end of the island, in Clarendon on the coast, Portland Bight, Portland Cottage, that area. And that means, of course, that the government will have to mobilize resources very quickly to ensure that if the coastal infrastructure is critical to the road network, that those are repaired very quickly. We also want to get a report on flooding, where flooding has occurred. I have not seen any reports yet on that, but I'd love to hear very quickly where we are in terms of flooding, because then that's another emergency response. Communities that are cut off, lives in danger. Generally, I would say that so far, we predicted that the eye would be passing us at around now, and that's my understanding, that it is off our coast and moving past us, that it will be a quick moving weather event, which is good for us. The quicker it moves, the better. And we have not had any reports. I have not had any reports, and I stand to be corrected, of any deaths attributed to the passage of this weather system, which is good, because in many instances, loss of life is not directly related to the passage of the weather incident. It is usually some act of recklessness or some accident or some other misadventure which happens either during or after the event. And we took the necessary steps in putting in place a Disaster Risk Management Act, declaring Jamaica a disaster zone, implementing a curfew, the evacuation orders, for the protection of our citizens, so that misadventure and accidents don't happen. So the curfew is due to be lifted at 6 p.m. today, but we still encourage residents to maintain a level of alertness and awareness to still shelter in place until you hear the all clear being given, which will come from ODPEM. And that means that you should be able to move about, but with caution. Generally, I would say that we have not seen the worst of what could possibly happen. We still have a few hours to go, so we should maintain our position of readiness and continue to pray for Jamaica's sake. Look, we can do as much as we can do that is humanly possible, and we leave the rest in the hands of God. So thank you very much.
All right, so that was the Prime Minister last evening there. So I just want to go to the Leader of the Opposition, all right, and just to share what he had to say this morning, all right? So I'm just going to go to that recording.
Good morning, Jamaica. This is Mark Golding. In the wake of Hurricane Beryl, early reports indicate that St. Elizabeth, Portland, Westmoreland, and areas like Mandeville and Portmore have suffered severe damage. Many roadways are still impassable, and many of us are without electricity and water. My heart goes out to all of those who have suffered damage to their homes and their businesses. Yet, even amidst this devastation, we have life. And with life, all things are possible. And we have the opportunity to rebuild and come back stronger than ever. Please continue to exercise caution and listen out for updates from ODPEM and local authorities. Stay safe, Jamaica. Together, we will rise again.
All right, so that was Mr. Mark Golding, Leader of the Opposition. All right, there is so much to get to. All right, so, in that context, let me just show you on screen some of the things that is not even like a lot, but just for you to see some of what we have received, in the context of, Hurricane Beryl. All right, so just for you to get a sense of what is happening there. And we're just going to share some updates as we have them. All right, so also too, we have some updates from Cayman Islands. But soon I'm just going to open the phone line so we can get to sharing, some information. All right, so again, welcome. If you're just tuning in, welcome to this update here where we're just providing some information. All right, so I believe we can move now and this was Kingston last evening. So just to show you some of the effects there.
This is Maxfield Avenue. This is Maxfield Avenue.
here at the West Bay Town Hall. No major anything, no flooding, no lot of water. We still not get the go ahead, the hall clear yet. We still have that flag up there. So we just have to be careful of how we navigate. We shouldn't be out here, but we're taking a 2-second chance of trying to see what's happening. Massive rain cloud coming in now. Days of rain so far. Massive amount of rain now. See?
All right, so just some updates there from Jamaica in terms of some visual representations of, what is happening in Jamaica and Cayman Islands. Again, welcome. If you're just tuning in, Carl, welcome, and Errol. Okay, thanks for being back here. Carl, it's going to take some time in terms of recovery. So the assessments are being done for sure. And then obviously we'll get an update in terms of how the country is going to move forward. So the phone line is open. So you can definitely give us a call and we will be here just trying to provide you with some updates. So just to be clear right now is that the Jamaica Observer, they're sharing that Jamaicans are being advised to brace for more rain as a tropical depression has developed west of the Lesser Antilles. All right, so not good. And we know that, it's the hurricane season and we're being asked to brace for that. So according to the U.S. National Hurricane Center, the system is not expected to intensify further, which is good. However, it is likely to bring showers over the weekend to Jamaica, raising concerns following the recent impact of Hurricane Beryl on Wednesday. All right, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration has predicted an above normal hurricane season for 2024. All right, their outlook for the Atlantic hurricane season from June 1st to November 30th forecast between 17 to 25 named storms, winds of 39 miles per hour or higher, all right? Among these, 8 to 13 storms could become hurricanes, including 4 to 7 major hurricanes. And they classify major hurricanes as, category 3, 4, or 5, all right, with winds of, 111 miles per hour or higher. All right, so just to let you know in that context. All right, so just to go back to some updates that we have, I know last evening we're trying to hear, what's the situation. So 2 confirmation regarding, penance and in that area generally okay, but they are without power. All right. So in that Summerfield Penance area, Chapacan Penance area, without power. All right. So just let you know too that some confirmation from Milk River, all right, Southwest Clarendon, some damage there because it's very close to the sea, the coast, if you're familiar with that area. But so far, everyone is safe, no loss of life. All right, so let me just take this call here.
Hello,
Hello,
caller,
caller,
you're
you're
live.
live.
Yes, hi. Good.
Hi,
Hi. How are
Errol.
you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm not doing too badly at all.
Wonderful.
As I said, I got some information from tenants there on surrounding areas, and the impact was not too bad. There we have trees being blown down, few, but in tenants at least for where my family is, they're saying that it wasn't too bad. The impact of the hurricane was not too bad.
Wonderful. That's good. And I got someone who shared that too over on WhatsApp that, what they were saying that there wasn't any power there.
Yes, they're out. Yes, they're out. The power, yes, they're out of power from yesterday. They have been out. So they had their backup, their power bank. I had asked my, relatives to get power bank. So they had purchased some, so at least they could use their phone, at least for that device. But
Yes.
the other would be generators, as you know, and all of that. So at least they can communicate through that. But the impact based on what I have learned, the eye wall, it passed on the
coast.
on the yes, on the coast, yes, the coastal, the south coast. So the hurricane, the eye and the eye wall, it passed there, and maybe a section of the eye wall did hit the land in those areas that got the brunt of the damage. So the Rocket Point, those areas, and Alligator Pond, and some other areas there,
Yes.
Christiana region, Mandeville. So it's really on the south coast of it. So, but then what I thought I was following was that it would have a more direct impact. So I'm glad that it didn't. But based on what I was following, I got the impression that it was going to have a direct impact on the island. Is it that it diverted? It shifted more to a southerly west region. Why it's that this happened?
I guess some change happened because remember when it was coming as a category 5, and then that kind of cut to that category 4. But then I think it started affecting like St. Thomas, that region first, but apparently then started to travel along the south, along the coast.
Yes,
So
southerly, gladly
yes.
so. That's because I realized in the mid-afternoon that it was taking a southerly path, instead of coming direct. Because the impression I got was that if we were going to get a direct hit, the eye would pass over the island as such. Other areas that were not affected eventually, and that gave rise to the St. Anne and St. Mary and some of the areas that was not badly affected because it went south of the island.
But I feel like based on the reports that we have been receiving, like all the parishes, they got some hit, and perhaps some have taken a harder hit than others. But that has happened somehow, I guess, and we can just understand how powerful this could have been if Jamaica got a direct hit. And so we're very much grateful, given what we have been seeing and in terms of the updates and the damages. So definitely grateful. It's unfortunate too that a 26-year-old, she lost her life in Anova. We are informed that a tree fell on her, and so that again is unfortunate. So again, guys, definitely important to keep safe, stay inside, and follow all
yes,
the
warnings. And that's what
you
were the person who I don't know if I relate to you. That was my concern about there. My relative there. There was a tree, two of them, two trees there, and I was concerned because they are huge trees. They were supposed to be cut. I think it was the same forum. I did mention it. They were supposed to be cut down by the JPS, and we didn't get them to cut it, and they weren't available, or they promised and didn't come, and that was my concern. But based on the information when I was contacted today about, as a report, to give me a report on it, just some branches. There's some major branches, not the tree itself didn't fall, which it's close to the house, and if it fell, it would have fallen on the house, and that was my grave concern. Through all of this, I didn't know what was happening because the tree was there, it was not cut down, and with that powerful wind, if it uprooted, it would fall on the house. And so when I heard the news about this fatality,
Right.
there, yes, it hit home because that was my fear as it relates to my situation there with my dad and the rest of the relatives.
Understand.
But we are thankful that, as in my case, and for personally in the surrounding areas there, I think the same thing where it's not major damages, but we are hoping that no other loss of life, as you said, resulting from it. There was a young man just washed away. Any news on that young man who was to retrieve a football or something? Some game he was playing and he went to retrieve it and fell in it.
No update on that 20-year-old. Again, that's just unfortunate. So we haven't heard anything yet. So I guess, hope is running out where that situation is concerned.
Yes, we are hoping that we can get some, through your forum here, get some more videos, some more information as to the other area that was impacted, how severely, because we know that the other areas, on the south coast, as I said, mostly were affected. And if you can get some videos and get some persons to interact, to get some information, so we can, know what is happening, and we really pray for them that they recover after the aftermath of it, to see extent of the damage and all of that. So maybe that information, if people are listening and they're here, can that they have those information at their disposal, that they would forward it and let us know what is going on.
For sure.
All right, so I'm here. I'm in the chat and I'm here watching.
All right. Thank you so much, Errol.
Oh, you're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, so welcome. If you're just tuning in, welcome to our coverage here. And let me just go and let you know that in the Member of Parliament, Floyd Green, Southwest St. Elizabeth, is describing, what had happened in terms of Beryl as a really tough situation. All right, and so in that context, he was sharing that I have already been in touch with the NWA in relation to clearing the roads to ensure that we can move around the community. Already, JPS has been made aware of the light poles that are down, and they are just waiting on the all clear to be able to go out and start that work. All right, and so Green described Hurricane Beryl as dealing a most devastating blow to St. Elizabeth. So pretty much, St. Elizabeth was hit. Significant numbers of roofs lost, houses destroyed, trees uprooted, and almost all roads impassable. All right. And so just to let you know that some of the major roads, and I suspect that some clearing is happening, all right, include Brampton, Lewistown, Crawford, Luana to Brampton, Elim, Holland Bamboo, Nain, and Goshen. And we heard about Goshen last evening, were blocked due to fallen trees. All right, so just some updates there. And on the matter of that too, since we're there, we are informed too that Monroe College, they suffered, a significant amount of damage. All right, so Monroe College and as well as Manning School in Westmoreland. All right. So just to let you know some of those updates. Rurian, I believe you're here. Welcome. And I guess just share what you have in the context of updates.
Hello, Natasha. Hello, everyone who is here on the live. Not a lot in terms of update. The electricity is still down with most of my contacts, but I've had some communication from South Manchester, and they're saying that it is devastating in the impact of Beryl. There are loss of livestock, uprooted trees, down power lines, and loss of roofs. But I'm not hearing about any loss of life in that South Manchester area. I could be wrong about that, but based on what my contacts have provided for me, no loss of life, and we're giving great thanks for that. But anyone who is on the south coast, I think they will feel the most of this hurricane. The parishes on the south coast, the St. Elizabeth, the Clarendon, the Manchester, they are going to take a good pounding from Beryl. So I'm expecting to hear some sad news coming from those places. And I hope the news will be better than I'm thinking. But my heart goes out to all the persons who suffered loss, whatever kind, whether it's property, loss of animal, or life. I'm just expressing my sympathy toward them, and hopefully things will recover. They will be able to bounce back soon. So back over to you, Natasha.
All right. Thank you so much. And Rodiad, welcome, welcome. So persons in the chat, hit the like button, subscription button, comment. Let us know where you're tuned in from and what is happening in your area, or you can give us a call. The WhatsApp number is on screen. All right, so just to go back to some updates. All right, so in Maypen, all right, Maypen is generally good, as I was informed. Trees down, billboards. Not without electricity. So in the town there, similarly mineralites, no power. Junior Crescent, they were out of power as well. All right, we're getting information from Vineyard Town in Kingston, down trees, holes in the road. All right, Treasure Beach. The situation is not looking good in Treasure Beach. So St. Elizabeth, down trees, utility poles. We're hearing that there is some significant amount of damage there in Treasure Beach as well. We heard about Alligator Pond last evening, that things were just not good there. All right. And so again, as Ruran is saying, we need to just keep, persons in our thoughts and prayers, and hopefully the assessment can be done. All right, and we can bounce back quickly from this. In St. James, all right, roads show extensive damage littered with debris. All right, and so that's a big update there coming out of St. James. All right, in that context. And also, just to let you know that if you're in the corporate area, the police, they're advising, all right, that several traffic lights are out of service. All right, so you are being urged, so motorists are being urged to proceed with caution and consider fellow road users. All right, so just to remind you of that in terms of the corporate area there. Kingston, I guess, is the Kingston St. Andrew area. All right. So just in the context of some other updates, unfortunately, we are being updated that there are at least three cases of carbon monoxide poisoning resulting from the use of generators. All right, guys, so while we're out of electricity, it is important for you to understand, how to use and operate, the generators. All right. And so carbon monoxide is a colorless, odorless, tasteless gas and is produced when fuel and other carbon containing organic materials are burned. All right. And so usually people will tell you that if you're smelling something along the line of like a rotten egg, that's kind of like the monoxide there. All right. So again, if it is that you're operating a generator, you need to ensure that you don't have them inside of the house or in any enclosed area. All right. You need to keep them, yes, in a dry area, but you need to ensure that they're not inside the house. All right. So just to let you know that in that context. And let us just see if we can hear from Evan Thompson, head of the Met Service, Jamaica. And he's pretty much asking Jamaicans not to let down their guards because they're currently monitoring something. And I share that with you. So let us see if we can hear from Evan at this point.
Mexico. And I'm Evan Thompson, meteorologist and principal director of the Meteorological Services branch of the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation. Today is Thursday, July 4. We have done it. At least we have seen the worst of Hurricane Beryl, having moved so close to the coastline of Jamaica and made its way right across over the waters of the off the south coast of the island, continuing to move toward the west-northwest and now away from Jamaica. The system has already passed the Cayman Islands and is now heading toward the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico. And so we're happy that we are now past the worst of it. We've been bombarded by strong winds, by heavy rainfall, and also by those battering waves from the storm surges. And right now we're picking up the pieces, I believe mopping up, because we did have some lingering rainfall across the island during the course of last night. That was the night of July 3. And we are now starting to see things drying out quite a bit. Thank you for all that you all have done and how we have really been showing our strength and resilience as we have moved past this chapter in our lives. Of course, we cannot let down our guard. We're still just getting into the meat of this hurricane season 2024, and there is so much more that could take place in our region. Right now, we're looking at an area of disturbed weather associated with a tropical wave that's moving into the Central Caribbean, and that could also affect Jamaica with a lot more rainfall in the next couple of days. So we're watching that very closely, hoping that it will not develop into a tropical cyclone. Unlikely right now, but there is a possibility, and so we're watching it very closely. But of course, we have to maintain our alertness right through the hurricane season that takes us right through till the end of November this year.
All right, so head of Med Service Jamaica, Evan Thompson, and just some good news there in the context of, Beryl has passed the Cayman Islands based on, what he shared just now. So I'm going to also try to get connected with my contacts in the Cayman Islands just to get a sense of, what's the situation there. So if you're on the live, give us a call. Would love to hear from you. But otherwise, I'll just try to reach out via text. And Ruran, you can do the same there too. All right. I believe I shared about the Sangsters International Airport already, that, they're expected to resume operations at 6 p.m. today. All right. So just to let you know that. All right, we are being informed to that mountainside in St. Elizabeth. that there are a lot of blocked roads, all right? And that is the situation there in the context of mountainside in St. Elizabeth. All right, Treasure Beach, as I shared, lots of damage there in Treasure Beach, St. Elizabeth. And I guess we can understand given the area's location there right on the coast. All right, so just to let you know that too, JPS, they say they're doing critical damage assessment so it can complete the necessary repairs to restore power to Jamaicans safely and quickly. So that might take some time. And again, it depends on the damage. And that's the reason why they're doing the assessment. And that will determine, how quickly you get, electricity back. Bernard Lodge, main road in St. Catherine, we're told was blocked, and perhaps they're in the process of clearing. Hopefully that is cleared with downed trees and debris following the passage of Beryl. All right, so just to let you know that. And again, operations at Norman Manley, all right, are expected to resume tomorrow morning. All right, so that's the update there from Norman Manley. All right, let me just quickly check in the chat here. Welcome to both Patricias, all right, in the chat, Patricia H and Patricia L. Welcome. Do you know if light is in Portmore? Highly likely no. All right, so based on reports from last evening, all right, so that might be the issue there if you're reaching out to persons. A lot of Jamaicans are without power. So even persons that have contacted, they have just like used power banks, or, persons who have a motor vehicle, they're able to charge their phone. And the next thing, as I shared earlier, based on updates received, if you're calling like Digicel to Digicel calls, we're told are not going through at this time. Patricia L is asking, is there any update on ANOVA? Don't hear from my family. I guess from about 4:30, I guess yesterday. Any updates on Westmoreland? All right, so what we know from ANOVA is that a 26-year-old, all right, unfortunately lost her life. All right, so a tree, I guess, fell on that young lady. And as a result of that, I am just checking to see if I have any updates from ANOVA. Just give me a second here as I try to see what is available, if anything here from ANOVA. And I am not seeing anything quite at this moment, but we'll definitely keep an eye out on that. All right, Patricia. Westmoreland, we definitely got some updates from Westmoreland. Let me just try and get back to some information here. Talk about Mannings in Westmoreland. So that school, Mannings High, suffered some damage there to the school. So I suspect that within that area, you're going to have some issues. I guess some amount of damage there. George's Plain, Westmoreland, they had a lot of rain and wind. So again, expecting that, some damage there as well. All right. I remember that last night too in Sav, there was some pole and I guess perhaps a utility pole that fell that was blocking the entrance to the hospital there. So I guess from the top of my head, those are some of the updates that I can recall right now from Westmoreland. And again, a lot of persons are without power in Jamaica. All right, so that has been, a significant hindrance in the context of, making contact with, family members. All right, so just for you to get that understanding there as well. All right, so that's what I can tell you there right for now in the context of Westmoreland. All right. I'm just checking here for some more updates, and we talk about St. Elizabeth. They got a battering there in St. Elizabeth. Extensive damage. All right, so just to let you know that in that context. Ruran, any further updates that you have there to share? And I'm just going to check in with the Cayman Islands.
Hello, Natalie. Not getting any updates. I'm still looking out. Nothing new yet. But just giving thanks that the storm has passed. Well, not the storm, but the hurricane has passed, and persons can start looking at picking up the pieces. And I'm most happy that it's turning to the south of Cayman Islands because we were worried about Cayman Islands last night, but apparently it went to the south of it and they have, eluded this one. So giving thanks for that. Thank you guys for joining us. Thanks for the support. Please like and subscribe once you're on here so that this platform can continue to grow. So if you're not a subscriber, close the chat, hit that thumbs up button, hit the subscription button, and turn on your post notification and click on all. Thank you for being here with us. Share what is happening in your neck of the woods so that we can keep everyone informed. Back over to you, Natasha.
All right, wonderful. Let me just take this call here. Hello, caller. You're sorry, guys. Sorry, my bad. I muted that and the caller. I heard the caller, but unfortunately, you did not. And my apologies there. So the caller was just wanting to know about, relatives there in retirement, St. James. So if you're in that area, you can definitely share with us. And when I am like the head cook and bottle washer, just monitoring a lot of systems, unfortunately, sometimes these things happen. All right. So just getting an update here from the Cayman Islands. So we are being informed right now that the rain has stopped, all right, and so things are looking better there in the Cayman Islands. They were experiencing, as I showed earlier, lots of rain. And so based on what Evan Thompson from the Met Service Jamaica shared, in that context, that is pretty much corroborating with what my contact there in the Cayman Islands is sharing. So I am hoping that this is it, but we're hearing really that Beryl has now gone past the Cayman Islands, and I'm telling you guys, they could not even manage a category 1. All right, so just to let you know that. So I am here just trying to get some more information. All right. All right, so we're being informed right now as I speak that, many of the roads in Treasure Beach, while single lane access has been enabled for Luana to Sandy Ground and Luana to Middle Quarters. All right, so some of those roads are being cleared, but there are still several other areas that are still impassable. All right, so there is some single lane access there in Treasure Beach, and I guess Luana to Sandy Ground and Luana to Middle Quarters. All right. So just ensure that you have updates too. And if you have to turn back, you just turn back. All right. So we talked about the generators in the context of that update. And just to let you know too that the judiciary of Jamaica, so the court system, they're saying that due to the effects of Hurricane Beryl, all courts across the island will remain closed for the rest of the week. So if you had a court appearance, all right, don't go because they are closing all the courts until next week. So I guess when you go back, or the clerk of court or whoever, they will communicate with to you, what that new date will be. All right. So just to let you know that. And we're just being updated that there were hundreds of persons from St. Andrew East Rural, all right, who pretty much took advantage of the emergency shelter located at the Papini School, all right, before Beryl made landfall, all right. So just to let you know that almost 500 persons, all right, I guess sought refuge in shelters across the island. So I guess that is good. You don't want to wait until there are issues before, making your way. So I guess, that's an update there. We are told, that Mitchelltown in Clarendon, so southwest Clarendon, is really damaged. All right. And so just to let you know that. Any updates from Portland Cottage or Rocky Point, Ruren? Or in the chat, Portland Cottage, Rocky Point? All right, not hearing from Ruren. All right, the JUTC, so the Jamaica Urban Transit Company, they are pretty much, advising commuters that service will resume on a phased schedule, all right? So you may not necessarily be able to access that. So they're going to resume. And again, roads are being cleared. And so we just need to be patient and understand that, things are going to happen. But of course, assessments will have to be done, and you don't want persons to be going into a situation to fix something that they don't understand, because you don't want any injuries in that sense. So it's good for us to get an understanding of what is happening. All right, so let me just go over to WhatsApp here to see if okay, I guess this was the caller who called here. All right, so just checking in. All right, so some more updates from Maypen area. All right, light post, I guess utility poles, all right, down, phone networks down, roads blocked, all right, and a lot of destruction, all right. And so just to let you know, that's another update there from May Pen. All right, mineralites, we know without electricity and a lot of places in Jamaica, it's so hard to single them out, are currently without, that. All right, guys, let us get the likes up to 30. We can definitely do that. Just close the X, hit the like button, and hit that subscription button. All right, hit the like button and hit that subscription button, and let us continue to grow stronger. Roger, welcome, welcome. Asking about Portmore. So we just have like a general sense of what is happening in Portmore, but let me just check my information here. Just give me a second. I don't know if I have anything specific for, but let's just ask Bridgeport, Edgewater. But we know that Portmore was, I guess, without power. All right. So I'm not too sure how widespread that is at this point. All right, but let me just quickly do a check here, Roger, just to see if I have anything specific for those areas. But again, to what we're going to do, we're going to come back later because I suspect that some persons know they're desperately trying to get at least their phones charged, in this time, and hopefully some places, power is being restored to some places, and so we should have some more access as we go along. All right, so I'm just doing a check here for Portmore just to see if I have anything specific for those communities, Bridgeport, Edgewater, and not seeing anything so specific for Portmore there. All right, for those communities. That's St. Catherine Bernard Lodge. All right, just checking for Portmore. But what did we get about Portmore? It wasn't really Portmore. Well, Portmore, but Elsha. All right, so we saw some damage there. But I'm just checking to see if I have anything specific for those communities. And I'm not seeing anything, Roger, at this point for those specific communities, just a general, Portmore and, what is happening there. All right, I'm just here checking. And we are being told to, this was earlier, based on what the Prime Minister shared, that, normal operations of government ministries and departments resume today. And that's, of course, based on the personal circumstances of the workers. You're welcome, Roger. Please hit the like button, subscription button, turn on your post notification, guys, because we're going to come back later this evening when hopefully we can get some more information and we can connect with more persons. Again, the big hindrance is that communication, barrier to communication, because a lot of persons are without power, and as a result, it's hard to make contact. So sometimes when, for example, we might contact a police officer just to get an understanding of what is happening in a general area, but we may not get, specific details. And so sometimes we just have to do that just to get a sense of what is happening. Because at this point too, I am not yet able to connect with all my family members. But we just have to find different ways to say, okay, this is what is happening in Maypen, this is what is happening up by Penance, Mitchelltown, And once they're saying, everybody's fine, we don't know of any loss of life, then, we thank God for that. And we say, okay, let's just wait until things are, better, because it's going to take a little bit of time given the impact. All right. So I do understand, how you're feeling. And in that context, Carol, welcome. I don't know about a curfew right now that ended at 6 a.m. this morning. All right. And that was in place for whatever purpose, in terms of ensuring that the security forces, they can have control in terms of, law and order. And similarly, we were being informed too that some persons were in the Mapen area stealing zinc and all that stuff. So people, come on, man. We don't want that kind of situation. We want to be supporting each other in, this difficult time. All right. So we don't want that, because, if those things are continuing, then you can expect that they're going to implement curfews, all right, to limit movement. So we don't want that. Everybody is just trying to survive, and something so difficult in terms of, experience for a lot of us, and the anxiety and the stress that comes with, just experiencing natural disasters. We want to ensure that we're being our brother's keeper, all right? So we don't want that to be happening any at all. All right, let me just go back here to check my little database for updates. Vante, welcome. All right, definitely God send that back. And yes, Carol, it's time to move on to recovery, and that is going to be a process, and of course the assessments are being done just to determine how we move forward. All right, so that's going to be a part of it. Individual persons, they're doing their assessment in terms of what happened at their house, in terms of damages, what they need to do to move forward. So that's going to be a part of that too. All right, so again, welcome. If you're just tuning in, it sounds a bit slow from my side, but I am checking. I'm just doing checks here just to update you as things, come in. So just know that I am here, and I am just trying my best here.
Not
All right,
actually just
go ahead,
not
Ruben.
not getting any updates, but I've reached out to my contacts as well just to find out what is happening in those areas. So as soon as I am provided some information, then I'll supply that to the chat and to you and to the general persons who are here. So again, if you want to share what is happening in your area so that we can cover, as much of the country as possible, once we team up on this, we should be able to do a good job at it. So continue to send in what is happening in your area, and ask about areas which you want to find out about as well. Back over to you, Natasha.
All right, wonderful. Thank you so much there, Ruren, for sharing. And I'm just looking in the chat there. Vante saying Bagwat guard still blocked. I guess it's clearing. All right, my house in Linstead, I guess, is damaged. Sorry to hear that, Vante. And how are things there in Linstead? Lots of damages, how are things there? And you're welcome, Carl. So let me just check here. to see, you know, what is happening here. So just checking for some other updates. And sometimes they come in slowly. So for example, I might just get off the live and then we start get some updates, and then you know that will be for later, the next, you know, segment. All right, so let me just see. All right, so the government is strongly advising travelers to confirm their flight arrangements directly with their airlines before heading to any of the island's international airports. All right, so this proactive step is crucial due to potential disruptions or delays caused by the hurricane. All right, so just want you to know that. And again, you know, we shared that a lot of reports of destruction and devastation coming out of Clarendon. So one of those places definitely hit. All right, so just to let you know. All right, so JPS representatives were seen carrying out work to restore power and clear debris, blocking roadways in Dolphin Bay, Portland. All right, so Dolphin Bay, Portland. So I guess in that area, we may hear or get an update that those persons will be, I guess, hopefully back with, you know, power. All right, so just to let you know, and that's pretty much that the utility poles were down along the road leading to Long Bay and surrounding communities. And Santa Cruz, St. Elizabeth, as with perhaps most of St. Elizabeth, and we heard about Black River last evening, currently experiencing a power outage, all right? And only one gas station operational. All right, so just to let you know, based on that update there in Santa Cruz. And this now looks like Old Darba. So residents of Big Pond in Old Darba are now marooned in their community. All right, so the roadways are flooded and fallen debris. So that's in Big Pond in Old Darba. All right, and we got some updates too earlier that, you know, Old Darba, it was tough, but so far I guess persons are doing well. So a lot of flooding there in Big Pond in Old Darba. All right, so again, welcome. If you're just tuning in, you know, comment in the chat. Let us know how things are in your area, or you can definitely give us a call. Would love to hear from you. And as we know by now too, that several houses and other infrastructure are seriously damaged in Mitchelltown, Clarendon. All right, anyone from Lionel Town, Hayes, Racecourse, Portland Cottage, Rocky Point, Hemsill, Springfield, Milk River, along that stretch, would love to hear from you. And I suspect that perhaps not, because those areas were badly damaged, all right? So that's pretty much, you know, the updates that I have so far. All right, that's pretty much that. And so, you know, we can just continue to monitor how things will unfold. I am still waiting to get connected with family members and some contacts that I have, but, you know, just once I can get a general update, you know, in terms of what is happening in the area, then I take comfort in that. All right. So, you know, we have that stress too on this side dealing with. But, just being hopeful and positive, and, sometimes they say no news is good news, all right? And so still haven't heard from a lot of family members, but again, we're checking and definitely, connecting, and persons are sharing for sure. All right, so
Yes,
again,
definitely. And just to
go
add what
ahead,
to what
Ruben.
you're saying too, a lot of persons might be busy doing some clearing up and, putting back things together, trying to make sure that all your assets that were, exposed are, accounted for. And, it's a lot of cleanup after a hurricane. So probably later on in the evening when persons have done what they can, and, they are more settled, then they will be able to provide, more detailed information and tell us exactly what is happening and what they have seen in the area. As you mentioned earlier as well, persons might be trying to find the sources to get their phones charged or actually getting their phones charged in order to get in touch with family and loved ones. So that's pretty much what I think is probably happening now. But I have experienced the hurricane before, fallen trees, lots of cutting using machetes. Persons will be out on the road trying to clear the road, at least allowing single traffic to pass by because, in case of emergencies and so on, persons need to access the road. So, all of those things will be taken into account. And I'm sure persons will take, things into their own hands as well before the National Work Agency and other government institutions chip in to help with certain of the clear of the debris that is left in the aftermath of the hurricane. So I think lots of persons are busy, and especially it's daytime too. Without electricity, that the day is extensively shortened, because by let's say about six or so persons will have to, be back on the inside and, waiting until they one day get back electricity or two until the sun rises in the morning. So lots of persons are busy checking around, I think, on, family members, making sure that their assets are good and allowing for the movement of motor vehicles and, stuff like that. So that's where we are having a little bit of challenge to get in touch with other persons who might be on site. But we're going to continue to reach out to persons to find out what is happening in their area so that we can share that with you and we might be able to cover something from your area so that you can be more comfortable. But as Natasha even said just now, sometimes no news is good news, and we are going to keep our fingers crossed that not much damage is done in terms of property, and we're hoping that the loss of life is kept to a minimum. Back over to you, Natasha.
Thank you, Ruben. Well said, well packaged, and that's pretty much what I believe is happening because persons are just making a while the sun shines in that context, trying to clear their roadway, perhaps helping out in the community because you want to ensure that access is there, and that is definitely important if someone needs to get to the hospital, all those things you have to factor or take into consideration. And so at this point, I wanted to come on early to check and to just share what we have because I know that a lot of persons, they wanted to get this update, and persons will come back, and I guess they can always view this live just to get a sense of, what we share. But we'll be back later this evening, perhaps similar to the time that we're on last night when persons are more settled, got the opportunity to get some charge, get some data, and for us to just continue this conversation. All right. And so we're definitely going to do that. And thank you, Carol. There, CJ Bless, welcome. All right. I see your point there. And CJ saying We are told, CJ, that it has passed the Cayman Islands, and we did a check-in with a contact there in the Cayman Islands, and they shared that the rain has stopped, and so that things were looking better. So I am hoping, all right, that things are definitely better there in that context. But based on what Evan Thompson shared, the head there of the Met Service Jamaica, he pretty much shared that Beryl has gone past the Cayman Islands, and I'm going to see if I can bring that back up for you guys. Just give me a little bit of moment here. Let me see if I can find that for you again, just to share and let you know. Again, the south coast of Jamaica, they got a battering, and some updates here in terms of roads cleared. So Treasure Beach to Bluntas, Billy's Bay, Calabash Bay, part of Sandy Bank, all right, single lane access, Luana to Sandy Ground, and Luana to Middle Quarters, all right, just some roadways that are cleared. All right, let's go to Evan.
Today is Thursday. I'm Evan Thompson, meteorologist and principal director of the Meteorological Services branch of the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation. Today is Thursday, July 4. We have done it. At least we have seen the worst of Hurricane Beryl, having moved so close to the coastline of Jamaica and make its way right across over the waters of the off the south coast of the island, continuing to move toward the west-northwest and now away from Jamaica. The system has already passed the Cayman Islands and is now heading toward the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico. And so we're happy that we are now past the worst of it. We've been bombarded by strong winds, by heavy rainfall, and also by those battering waves from the storm surges. And right now we're picking up the pieces, I believe mopping up, because we did have some lingering rainfall across the island during the course of last night. That was the night of July 3. And we are now starting to see things drying out quite a bit. Thank you for all that you all have done and how we have really been showing our strength and resilience as we have moved past this chapter in our lives. Of course, we cannot let down our guard. We're still just getting into the meat of this hurricane season 2024, and there is so much more that could take place in our region. Right now, we're looking at an area of disturbed weather associated with a tropical wave that's moving into the Central Caribbean, and that could also affect Jamaica with a lot more rainfall in the next couple of days. So we're watching that very closely, hoping that it will not develop into a tropical cyclone. Unlikely right now, but there is a possibility, and so we're watching it very closely. But of course, we have to maintain our alertness right through the hurricane season that takes us right through till the end of November this year. I'm Evan Thompson, meteorologist at
All right, so Evan Thompson there, just sharing with you guys. So, again, Cayman Islands, so that has passed, and that is very good. Heading to the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico. And so hopefully it just get lost at sea there without heading, making a landfall. All right, so just to let you know. So let me just do a quick, check here just to see if, there's anything new coming in before we kind of wrap this one up and come back, later on. And again, if you're using a generator, please ensure that you're operating it properly to prevent carbon monoxide poisoning. All right. So that is important. We are being informed that about 3 cases of carbon monoxide poisoning related to generators, have happened. All right. So we want to ensure that we are using that, pretty safe. All right. All right. So spur tree got a hit too in the context of Beryl. All right. Lines down, debris, like missing roof. All right. So just to let you know that's happening. So that's one of the updates that we're getting. So lots of things going down there in the spur tree area. They had heavy rains and strong winds, all right, that caused widespread damage across the area, making many roads impassable. All right, so again, so I suspect, lots of cleaning up. And if we know Jamaicans, they're going to be out there, definitely trying to help to do, what is necessary to make life better for everyone. All right. And so that's the spirit. So no looting and, trying to take away people's stuff. And again, as Ruben shared, a lot of persons, they're going to try to secure their property. If that is happening, they're going to help in terms of creating access, in that context to their communities. And so, in light of that, we're going to come back later this evening. So, ensure that you turn on your post notification, you hit the subscription button, hit the like button, tap that bell, and select all so that you do not miss any updates from us. Rurian, do you have any final comments or that you'd like to share with us, our updates?
Not actually. I am just going to ask everyone who's here to hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed, please do so now. We are only at 17 likes. There are 20 plus of us here. So let us try to get our likes up to 20, please. If you love the work that we're putting in here, just show that support in terms of the likes and subscription. We are a family here and we support each other. And this is a simple way in which you can support us by just hitting that like button, that subscription button, and what this does is that it will help YouTube to just send this out to other persons who might be searching for something like this in terms of finding out what is happening in their neck of the woods regarding this um, hurricane. So please, I'm asking you to hit that like button, that subscription button, so that we can continue to grow and continue to support people as we continue to go forward. Thanks in advance. I'm looking forward for your support. Natasha Lee, I just want us to see how best we can keep providing information. Thank you guys so much for the persons who just like we're going to see how best we can get as much information from as far as possible, each and every nook and cranny of Jamaica so that, persons can rest easy knowing that their families are okay or knowing exactly what is happening with their family because that's important to us. We strongly believe in family and that is why we are here trying to connect, persons with their families. So please support us in whatever way you can. We're one away from 20 likes. One more person hit that like. That's a target that we're setting for ourselves today. So let's see if we can get 20 likes on this live here. We're up to 19. I'm going to pass back over to Natasha Lee and we will talk a little bit later for sure.
All right, thank you so much, Ruben. Thank you so much to all the persons who have tuned in and share, for the callers, really appreciate the calls. And, thank you so much for maintaining our safe space here, our safe community. Voices in Education is a safe space where we share and learn from each other. We do that in a respectful way to ensure that we are, maintaining this safe space so we don't bash anyone, we don't belittle anyone, we don't disrespect anyone, all right? Because we understand the power of diversity. There is so much richness in diversity. So although we may not share the same perspective, that is totally okay. Once we're able to respect each other, it gives us the opportunity to learn from each other. Look at what we're doing now. This is a community we were able to hear from, other community members, persons, call in and share what they know so that we can, be informed. And, thank you so much for all your support. And the WhatsApp number that you see on screen, you can also WhatsApp me and send me updates, from your area. And if you want me to add you to the WhatsApp group, you just send me a message and your name, and I'll just add you to that group. So once we're going live too, we'll send out a link to you so that you know. And if we get updates, we'll share there as well. All right, so thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you later, perhaps at around 7:30, 8 o'clock Jamaica time. And hopefully we can get, some more updates to share with you then. All right, so take care and, talk to you soon. And remember, with everything that you do, put God in the midst, put God first. All right, with Christ in the vessel, we can smile at the storm. All right, take care, guys. And again, thank you so much. And I will see you at about, I guess, 7:30, 8 o'clock later this evening. Bye for now.